Okay, this is Eric Louvier. Welcome to this presentation. We have a lot to cover. We're going to cover the reasons why people buy and some of the psychology behind conversions. We're going to talk about some really cool stuff like branding, and we're going to talk about positioning yourself. And we're going to talk about the celebrity aspect of things, and we're going to talk about social proof and proof factors, and we're going to talk about also some things I just want to talk about that don't really fit right in with conversions or copywriting, but I really just want to talk about making money, just flat out making money and some of the insights that I think are critical to making money. And I find a lot of people in this business, they don't make money because of these things. And those that are making money, they're following some of this stuff. So we'll get into that as we go along. So this isn't your normal presentation that kind of just goes step by step. There's some stuff that's kind of mixed in here as I was creating this presentation for you guys. So you have to kind of follow along because I kind of jump around on this, so it should be interesting. Let's get started right away, right? Just jump right into this. So first I want to talk about needs, desires, and wants. Wait, let me get my pen here. My pen handy. Let's make sure this works. Yeah, this works. What was it that I said in that last webinar? I said, isn't it funny when you see a big old guy with a little bitty head? Anyway, let's get going. Needs, desires, and wants. Oh, you know what? This doesn't work with my pen. Okay, there we go. Okay, so usually that's going to sound like common sense to anyone that's been in this business for a little while. I mean, it should sound like common sense. Sell what people want and need, right? Unfortunately, that's not what happens a lot. It's not common sense because so many people don't do it. They think about what they want to sell, and I run into this all the time. People say, what is it that, I'll be talking to some of my VIPs, and they'll say, well, I want to sell this product. What do you think? And my first thought is like, I don't know if that's going to sell too well. And they're really just not fulfilling those needs, desires, and wants. They're kind of creating a product that they want to sell, and then they're going to go look for customers that want to buy it. And they're kind of looking to do what they love. And we all talk about, well, you should follow your passions, right? That's important. You got to follow your passions, and you got to love what you do to be successful. But that's not completely true because I love playing baseball, but if I'm not going to make any money playing baseball, I'm about 30 pounds overweight right now, and about to hit 40 years old next year, so I don't think I'm going to make any money playing baseball anymore, so even though I love it, that's not going to make me any money. So you can't exactly just do what you love and make money. You got to kind of find what you're passionate about in this business, this marketing business, but you got to sell the stuff that people want, the stuff that they need, what they're desiring. That's what you got to sell these people. Go out there and find a problem. What's a big problem that people are having, and then solve that problem for them. That's where you're going to make a lot easier money. And although this sounds like common sense, you'd be shocked at how often I run into this. People just creating their own products. And like Lawrence here is a copywriter, he'll tell you too. I mean, people, back when I used to write copy left and right and bang out a bunch of copy, people would bring me these sales letters and say, can you make this thing convert? I've been driving a lot of traffic to this, and it's just not converting. I just think my copy sucks, and the last copywriter that I spent a bunch of money on must have been a doofus because this isn't converting worth a damn, and I just wasted a bunch of money. Can you look at this and tell me and see if you can make this convert for me? I mean, how much money is it going to cost for me to get this thing to convert? And I take a glance at it, and I'm like, well, it's not going to convert because nobody wants that. No one needs that. And also, I don't even know what the heck you're selling here because it doesn't make sense. You run into that a lot too. I mean, people just don't provide a sales letter that's just to the point. It's so confusing that the reader doesn't even know what you're selling, Or you'll see that the person that's writing the sales copy, it's all about them. What I did is I did this, and I did that. And then, I lost my house, lost my car, lost my dog. And then I found this secret way to make money. And then I did this, and then I did that, and I started making money, right? And no one cares. They don't care about you. They care about themselves, right? And they have a problem, and they want that problem fixed. Or they desire something, and they want it to be given to them. right? Especially for exchanging money for that specific thing. But I see this all the time. People create something, then they go out there and try to sell it, and it doesn't fulfill any big-time needs, right? You got it. It's as simple as finding a problem and solving that problem. So let's see. I'm interested in Egyptian poems or poems and storytelling. So I should create a platinum level Egyptian poem membership site, right? Wrong. Not at all. No one's going to buy that, right? Most likely. It's not fulfilling any kind of problems. Fill needs. It's as simple as that. So what do people want and need? Find that and provide that. Find problems that people have and solve those problems for people. How can you better people's lives? That's what you want to think about, is how can you impact or affect or better other people's lives? How can you improve their lives? How can you make their lives easier? How can you eliminate their problems that they have? What is it that they desire? Focus on that. We all focus on the money, especially if money gets tight. If money's tight, all we're thinking about is how can we make money? How can we make money? Where's the cash? How do I get the cash flow rolling? What do I do to bring in some money by next week, right? That's what we look at. What you really should be focusing on is the value, how you can impact other people. What can you do for other people? Get yourself out of the equation. Get that narcissistic thoughts out of your head as far as what you want, and focus on the people. What do they want? What do they need? And if you need to find that out, just ask them what they want and need. They'll tell you. Okay? So why do people buy? I mean, here's one big reason why people buy. There's lots of reasons. But one reason is to gain comfort, right? To be more comfortable. So people are stressed out. They're fidgety. They're restless. They're bored. They're frustrated. They're in a lot of pain. Excuse me. They're tired. They're worn out. They're sick, old, broke, etc. So what is their pain about, right? Find out what their pain is about, and then you just offer the solution, which is to be more comfortable. They will gladly pay you to gain more comfort. This is one of the secrets that I look at when I'm writing copy or crafting sales videos, is I try to make it seem just a lot more comfortable for them in their lives once they buy this program and get this information. So pain is one thing you want to agitate. We'll talk about that later, but you find their pain points and you find their emotions, because being stressed out is an emotion. All this fidgety and restlessness and all that, this is all emotions. And so you're going to tap into that as a copywriter, as a marketer, and then you want to agitate that pain, right? Well, I look at it as far as like, well, how can I make them feel more comfortable? And if you think that in your own head while you're creating the copy or creating the sales video, you're thinking in your own head, okay, this is the problem. Now, how can I make them feel more comfortable with my words? With the words that I use in my video or the words that I use in my sales copy, what I want to pick at the scab, make them feel the pain, bring that to the forefront, and then I want to make them feel comfortable. And then when they feel comfortable, they change in their mind and they start thinking about possibilities. They start thinking about hope and opportunity and what could be. Okay? So that's something that it's hard to explain, but whenever I try to craft sales copy or sales videos, I try to tap into that. And if you looked at anything that I've done when it comes to sales, you can almost just sit there and see it if you read between the lines. Here's the problem everyone has. Here's what most people do, and this is why they fail. Here's what I did to get successful. This is what you should do instead. In fact, and then I start kind of listing out all the benefits that they get. And I try to write it or say it in a way that makes them feel comfortable and confident about taking action and buying the program, which confidence is important as well. If I were to talk to you guys in a sales video like this, well, maybe you should get this program because it just might help you with your problem. I mean, it could possibly, I'm not sure, but it could possibly, maybe, just maybe help you with your problem. Not positive, but I mean, most likely some people are going to be able to get help. I mean, I can't promise everyone will be able to get help, but I think I know what I'm doing. I'm not sure, but maybe. I mean, I've been doing this for a little while. You see what I mean? It's like, it's crap because it's just weak, timid. But if I was to tell you flat out what you need to do with confidence and authority, well, people like to be led. People follow that, and they feel more comfortable in their decision. So whenever they look to make a buying decision, most people are on the fence. Should I buy it? Should I not buy it? Should I buy it? Should I not buy it? You have like a percentage of people that buy it right away without even thinking. Then you have a percentage of people that just click away. They're not going to buy it no matter what. But you have this big chunk of percentage of people that are on the fence. And so just being a little bit more assertive, a little bit more confident, a little bit more authoritative in your speech and in your writing can push a lot of those people on the fence over to your side. And that also makes them feel more comfortable. I mean, imagine if you went to see a doctor and the doctor said, we did an x-ray of your head. What was that called, an MRI? No, CAT scan. We did a CAT scan of your head and we found, some stuff going on over here in your brain. Not sure, though. I'm going to have to get a second opinion because I'm just not confident that I quite understand what I'm seeing there, but it does look a little abnormal. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this on to a colleague of mine to see what's going on inside your brain there. I mean, wouldn't you be like just wanting to reach over and smack that doctor upside the head? What is it? What's wrong with my brain, you idiot? Right? But if you go to a doctor and there's like, look, this is what I found. This is what's going on. This is what, is likely you're going to need treatment, and we'll get this thing taken care of, all right? You're going to be just fine, Eric. Don't worry about it. I'm going to feel pretty good, All right, cool. It's, and doctors have that bit of credibility about them. So problems, desires, and needs are uncomfortable for people, right? So I can't get a date to save my life. I'm lonely. I'm desperate. I need self-confidence or some kind of information for getting more dates. I need some secrets, some dating secrets, because I suck at picking up dates, and I'm just bored and lonely and having all kinds of issues here. So I need some help, right? That's a thought. That's a conversation that someone would be having in their own head, right? Someone that has a problem here in this category. Not that I ever have, but for those people who have, this is what they'd be thinking, right? Can't get any dates. This sucks. I need some help. So start looking for information, right? So what can you sell this person? That's a problem, you see? You're going to provide a solution. And then when you provide that solution, you tap into these thoughts right here that they're having. You tap into these emotions, and you solve a problem. It's as simple as that in marketing. Does the problem come with fire? I call it fire. Let me give you an example of fire. Anyone who stays up late at night, stressed out, and can't go to sleep and is worried to death, that's what I call fire, emotion. Those people buy. Okay? Those are buyers, and you want to tap into those people. And if you supply the solution to that problem that's keeping them up late at night, you will make money a lot easier. On the contrary, if you try to create your own product just because you think it's a cool idea, and you go out there and try to sell something and force it down people's throats to buy it, it's not going to work as well, right? You find that big problem and solve it. Easy. So fire equals emotions. Like one thing that comes to mind is people that are in trouble. Like if you're legally in trouble with the law, you're going to spend some money on an attorney. You don't want to go to jail for a long time, right? See, that's one that stands out. I mean, that's emotions. That's trouble. Okay? That's fire. What keeps them up at night? So identify problems and then solve them. So now, how do you get them to buy from you instead of all your competition out there? Because if you're going to be in this market that's providing solutions to problems, most likely you're going to have competition. And the one thing that all businesses have in common with each other, successful businesses, is competition. Doctors have competition, lawyers have competition, scientists have competition, car dealers have competition, carpet cleaners have competition, plumbers, you name it, they have competition. If you don't have any competition, you're either in the freaking gold mine of all gold mines on the planet and you're about to make millions of dollars very quickly, or no one's going to buy what you're selling. Let's go where the money's at. So one way to stand out from your competition is to be different, unique, differentiate yourself. It's not good to just be like everyone else. It's not good to be just like the others. You need something that makes you stand out amongst the noise, a unique selling proposition. Be different, be unique, stand out, be controversial, have some snap to you, stand out. That's what you want to do to be different, and that can come from what your offer is. Maybe your offer is a little bit different than the competition that's out there. Whatever it is, you're going to look at your assets and resources. You're going to get creative and find a way to come with a unique selling proposition, something that makes you different than everyone else. You got to stand out. So how can you stand out? Be controversial is one way to stand out. If you're going to be controversial, then you're going to piss off a lot of people, right? You have to be ready to handle that. And if you do it on purpose, which I've done many times, I do it on purpose. When I do it on purpose, I laugh at all the people that are pissed off because I'm doing it on purpose. I feel a little mischievous, I'm like, look at them, they're pissed off. It's just kind of funny to me, right? But whenever, if somebody comes to me out of the blue and I'm not trying to be controversial, then I kind of get a little upset, But when I'm doing it on purpose, heck, it works like a charm. It really does, because you stand out. You're not just like everyone else. I mean, you rise above the noise when you're controversial. You capture attention when you're controversial. So you might piss off 30% of the people that receive your message, but the rest of the 70%, or whatever the percentage ends up being, the rest of the people are going to be really engaged in what it is that you have to say. They will be more engaged, and you will create more empathy within them if you're polarizing like that, if you're controversial. So have personality, have character. If you don't rise above the noise in what you're doing, then you're just going to be boring and like everybody else, and people will tune you out, right? So this are a few ways to kind of differentiate yourself from the noise. Ruffle their feathers, kind of be polarizing, I mean, some people will like you, some people won't like you, but I mean, Dan Kennedy even says piss off 30% of your market, offend 30% of your market, and then you'll be more polarizing. More people will pay attention to you. The spotlight will be on you in your business, and you will stand out. I mean, think about it. If you had to look at 100 different sales letters in the internet marketing space, and that was your assignment today, go through these 100 different sales letters, and you're just going through them, and you're like, oh, they're going to all start to run together. They're all going to seem like the same thing. You're just reading these different things, and you're getting confused. They all kind of mesh together, right? The ones that are going to stand out are the ones that are polarizing, the ones that really are different and unique, okay? Be different. Next thing I want to talk about is social proof. This alone can make you rich. If you've heard of this before, I want to go deeper now than what you've probably realized. I mean, testimonials are one thing. Getting tons of testimonials are another thing. Endorsements are even another way to create the social proof. Facebook comments are another way to create social proof. Forum posts are another. A forum filled with cheerleaders is another way to get social proof. I don't want you to operate within the box of thinking, okay, all I need to do is just get a few testimonials, slap them on my sales letter, and there, I got social proof done, check it off, right? Move on to the next factor in your sales copy. No. So social proof needs to be a bigger thing than that. It needs to be ever-changing and growing. It's a breathing entity all on its own. You should have, people talking about you on Facebook and Twitter. You should have forum posts, where people are talking about you and your business. You need to have, if you had your own forum filled with all these cheerleaders, and what I mean by cheerleaders is just people that are raving fans of yours, you get them out there creating YouTube videos and testimonials and stuff like that. That's really driving home the social proof aspect. That can make a huge difference, because you know what we all do before we buy something is we go search it on Google, right? We go search and kind of do our own little quick research to see if we're going to make the right decision in buying from this person or not, right? Especially with someone we haven't heard of. But if they go and they look, on Google and they see some stuff there and it looks pretty good, and they see a YouTube video on the Google search, they click that and they watch that, and some customer saying, yeah, you should buy Lawrence's stuff. He's a really good guy. He really blew me away. I really love his content. He knows what he's talking about. I really got a lot of benefit from his, blah, blah program. It really made a big difference in my life. Highly recommend it. That's where you're beating the drum of the social proof angle and make it a bigger deal than just, slapping something against the wall and checking it off and being done, moving on to the next thing. This is where when you really get down and really, really focus on one business, you can hit on all these things. in our industry, and I've done this a lot myself. This past year, I'll admit, I'm just launching different things, doing a bunch of different stuff. But when you focus on one business and you put your heart and soul into that one business, then you can do all of this to a lot larger degree, right? Like I might throw a couple of testimonials on a sales letter, bam, hit it to my list, make some money, move on to the next thing, right? But if I focus on one business, then I could get the contest going, and I could get buzz going and social proof, and I could build this over time and make it grow bigger and bigger to where there's an army of social proof out there in the marketplace, an army of people out there, ringing my bell and cheering on my program, right? That's going to make you so many higher conversions that you don't even realize. So don't just dabble in social proof. I mean, go the extra mile. Really take it and run with it and drive it home and make it a big difference in your revenue. If you had a best-selling book, wouldn't that just help your social proof? I mean, most people who write books, they don't make squat. Well, why do they write books? They write books because of branding, right? But having a best-selling book is another great way for social proof because you have a book. Ooh, you're somebody if you got a book. If you were on Fox News, that's another thing. Here's some credibility, some social proof. Friends with celebrities is another. If you have some celebrity friends, or you can rent a celebrity, things like that, which we'll talk about presentation in a minute, power of presentation. But, marketers will actually rent celebrities to take a picture with them or show up at some event or something with them just because they know it's going to increase conversions. Social proof combined with branding equals huge success. Huge. I mean, have you ever noticed, I don't know if you guys ever go to Yahoo, just the homepage, but I have it on Yahoo as my homepage, and that's kind of where I just glance to see if the world's coming to an end or something, because I hardly ever watch TV. So I won't know. I mean, half the stuff that's going on, in our society or in the world, I get it because I, have Yahoo as my homepage. But I noticed in the upper right-hand corner it says trending now. It's almost always celebrities, right? It's always celebrities and crap that's going on with them and stuff. And celebrity is a very interesting thing in our society because if you could use that to your advantage, you could really make yourself a lot of money. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So branding is the highest level of conversions there is, in my opinion. Now, I have dissected copywriting, persuasion for years now, and I'm convinced the more you brand yourself, the higher your conversions will be, period. If people know who you are and you have a reputation, if you're branded in your market, you will convert. Making money will be easy, and the more you're in front of your market, the more money you make. It's just easy. I realized once I started putting myself out there in front of people that people would contact me just out of the blue and ask to buy stuff from me, to have me mentor them, to help them with their copywriting, to partner with them, all this kind of stuff. I mean, branding really is the highest level of conversions, in my opinion. And I know that could be debated, but there's a lot of aspects and factors that go into converting, but branding could be one of the best ways to really increase your conversions to a point where, all the other factors really don't have to be all that great. If you're someone in this market, pick one of the top 3 gurus in this marketplace, and they don't really have to do much, right, to make a sell. I mean, if they came out with something tomorrow that was $35 and they sent it out to their list and stuff, I mean, everyone will buy it, right? Because it's this guru, right? So that branding is just one of the highest levels of conversion. So everyone sells stuff. Everyone, doctors, lawyers, religious figures, the president, everyone is a salesperson. And those who are branded sell more. So would you rather get your hair cut by some person who's been doing it for 30 years or a stylist to the stars? Someone who cuts the hair of celebrities, actors. Well, who would you rather get your hair cut by, right? If they're the same price, who would you want to get your hair cut with? Okay, let's say the stylist to the stars is twice the price. But wouldn't you be interested in getting your hair cut with that person? So tapping into the branding or celebrity aspect of things is huge for conversions. Branding and positioning, it's all about presentation. And marketing is all about presentation. And not many people are going to tell you this. If you can tap into the powers of presentation and dictate what people think of you, you understand marketing better than 98% of the world. It is all about presentation. And you can dictate what people think of you. It's not who you know. It's who you know and what do they think of you, right? Well, in your marketplace, what do they think of you? What do your customers think of you? What do your prospects think of you? What do your peers think of you? Your joint venture partners think of you? It's the power of presentation. And if you tweak the power of presentation, if you tweak presentation purposes over to your favor, you'll instantly see a difference. It's all about presentation and marketing. Presentation, positioning, branding, whatever you want to call this stuff, is huge. If I tell you I'm a $1 million copywriter, you now see me as a $1 million copywriter. Are you going to challenge that if I say, hey, I am a $1 million copywriter? Are you going to think in your head, no, you're not? Yeah, maybe a small percentage will. A small percentages may think that you're stretching the truth or lying. But most people will just take you for your word and say, okay, you're a $1 million copywriter. Now, I wouldn't recommend going out there and saying things like that unless you are. But what is a $1 million copywriter? If I told you I'm a $1 million copywriter, what does that mean? Does that mean I made $1 million writing copy for other people? Does that mean that I wrote copy for other people and combined they all generated over $1 million? Presentation purposes. Here's what Gary Halbert said. He said, I'm the world's greatest copywriter. And if you don't believe me, check out my website. It says it right there. I mean, that's an awesome example of what we're talking about. He's basically saying, I'm the world's greatest copywriter because I say I'm the world's greatest copywriter. It's as simple as that. Marketing is all about presentation. I saw a commercial on TV and I also heard it on the radio. Same commercial. Okay, it's about these. It's a commercial for this program for your kids that have bad behavior. You guys might have heard it. It's everywhere right now. I've been seeing it. So the guy says, I'm going to send you my program for free, or something like this. I'm going to send you my program for free. Just be sure and tell me, how it works for you and your kids. I'm looking for case studies. So I'm going to give it to you for free. And he also says I only have 1,000. He's like, yeah, you're on TV to millions of people and on XM radio. I'm sure you only have 1,000. Yeah, right. Free my ass. It's called continuity. Or you buy now, and if you don't like it, then it's free. What is his? I didn't call the number. I don't know what his pitch is, but I can guarantee you that there's some kind of continuity. Maybe he sends you the first month free, and all you got to do is pay for shipping and handling, and then they hit you with the month, the continuity where you get charged every month after that. Or it's a twist where he says it's $97, and if you don't like it, then it's free. You get your money back or something like that. He's pulling some kind of trick right there, right? A marketing trick. That's all presentation. It's on TV. It's on the radio. It's presentation purposes. I bet tons of people are calling in saying, yeah, my kid's pretty bad. I need this program. He said it was free. I'd like to get it. I'm going to say, okay, it's $4.50 shipping and handling. We'll send it out to you for free. And it comes with 12 CDs, this and that, whatever it comes with. And they're like, oh, okay, cool, great, yeah, only $4 shipping and handling. That makes sense. So they pay the $4 in shipping and handling. And then the operator says, and we'll send you out a new lesson every month, and you'll be conveniently charged $14.45 each month. You can cancel at any time. You got 30 days to try it out. See how you like it? And then he makes his money that way. It's not free. There's no way it's free. It's presentation. He says, limited to 1,000 people. That's all I can handle is 1,000. Yeah, right, So look at this headline here. Look, just read this to yourself. I'll read it to you. What if you could make $4,000 per month in the next 13 days? How does that make you feel? Read it again. What if you could make $4,000 per month in the next 13 days? We're talking about the power of presentation here in this headline. How does that make you feel? Notice the first two words. What if? Now it changes the whole scope of the headline, right? What if you could make $4,000 per month in the next 13 days? I'm not saying you are. I'm saying what if you could? You see what I mean here? The power of presentation. What if? Here's another way of saying it. Imagine making $4,000 per month in the next 13 days. You're just imagining it. Copywriting services. Here's two different copywriters who sent me responses or responded to this inquiry about hiring them. Two different copywriters. Said two different things. Copywriter A. I normally charge around $500 for a sales letter rewrite. If you need more, or if you need me to rewrite a sales letter for you, it's only $500 one time. If you need a sales letter from scratch, it's $1,200 one-time payment. Okay? I normally charge around $500 for a sales letter rewrite. If you need me to rewrite a sales letter for you, it's only $500 one time. If you need a sales letter from scratch, it's $1,200 one-time payment. Copywriter B says, my rates depend on the scope of the project, but I can't read this and move this out of the way. But my high-level clients pay me a flat fee to start and a royalty on sales. You see, I work closely with my clients because you have to tweak and tweak and tweak to get conversions higher and higher. It's a process, not a single event. My upfront fee is a minimum of $3,000 and $3,000 when done, and we could talk about the royalty percentage if you're interested. See the difference in the two copywriters? What do you think is who do you think is the better copywriter, A or B? Go ahead and type it into the question panel. B? None of the above? Yeah, everyone's saying B. B, 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 B. Lauren said me. I guess B. B hands down. B. Okay. B would appear to be better, exactly. Mac, I know who you are, man. Can't fool me. Guess what? They're the same person. Me! Back in 2006, I sent two different clients. I had two different clients. One was big and one was small, a small guy just getting started. I quoted them differently. I quoted one cheap because I knew he wasn't going to spend this kind of money. And I quoted the other one who I knew was a big marketer and could afford this. I quoted this. Is that pretty sneaky? John even put sneaky. That's presentation, guys. That is complete presentation. That is presentation purposes right there. What makes me any different? Well, what's the difference between me charging $6,000 in royalty percentage and charging $500 or $1,200? I just knew that the other customer wasn't going to take it. I knew this guy was going to jump all over it. He was looking to do big damage, right? He needed a high-priced, badass copywriter. If I would have quoted him $500, he would have moved on to somebody else. There's a lot in this lesson if you guys think about this. There's a lot here. So to the public, I did this too. I raised my fees overnight, and I told everyone how I doubled my fees, and the minimum was now going to be $5,000. I emailed my list, I posted it everywhere I could. I said my fees are no longer, going to be $1,200 or whatever. They are now $5,000. I'm sorry, I just cannot write for anything cheaper. When I did that, my sales skyrocketed. More people wanted to hire me when I changed my fees like that and told everyone. And at the same time, I was doing some interviews and stuff because, people always need copywriting information in their products. So they'll go find a copywriter and interview the copywriters that have copywriting conversion content in their programs. So I was doing some interviews and stuff, and I'd toot my own horn, and I would say, yeah, I just recently, doubled my fees because I just have too many clients, and, so there's no way I can, so I just doubled my fees. And what's interesting, I doubled my fees, and I have even more clients now than I ever had before at the lower fees. Positioning is what this is called. Positioning. Branding. I think you should brand you. There's a lot of debate. Brand yourself, brand a company. I think you should brand you. Sure, you can brand a company, but first, I recommend branding you, especially if you're just getting going. Brand yourself. Depending on what niche you're in, I'd look to brand yourself first, then brand some winner of a company later. Unless you already have a winner of a company or program now, then go ahead and go with that. Reason is, if you brand yourself to the market and to your list, then you can sell different things to them. So what if you brand a program and that program ends up being a dud? Now what? Got to move on and brand some other company. But if you brand yourself, then some of your programs can be duds, and it doesn't matter. They're going to still buy from you because you branded yourself. Failure is guaranteed in this business. It is a given, okay? Now, we're kind of moving on to something a little bit different. I want to go back to this for a second. The reason whenever you brand yourself, and this is something a lot of people find hard to wrap their brains around, I think you should brand yourself first and then brand the business. You got to have some credibility, and you got to have a foundation set up, okay? Sure, you know, you want to build a legacy, and you want to have this business that you could sell, and you know, and if you brand yourself, then the business isn't going to be very sellable if it has you all attached to it, right? So you want to brand businesses that you want to sell, but you want to brand yourself. If somebody sends me an email, if I'm on someone's list and they send me an email and it's from their company, then I'm gonna be like, what is this, right? I mean, even if they're trying to brand the company, that just doesn't work with me. It's a lot easier to brand your name. You know, people put your face to your name, your voice to your name. It's a lot easier to brand that, and then when you do that, it's a lot easier to make money. Then you can create businesses, brand those, and then sell them off if you want to. Okay? I think branding is huge. Okay, failure is guaranteed in this business. It's a given. Get a site that brands you. So you're going to have some duds, and you know. And another thing, you shouldn't just have one product. You should have several products. You should have some products for upsells and back-end sales, right? You shouldn't just have one product. If you're in a niche, like if you're in the niche of like, you know, how to cure spider veins, I mean, what else are you going to sell those people? You cure their spider veins, and then what else are you going to sell them? It's kind of hard, right? But if you're in the right kind of niches, like, you know, this niche, internet marketing or dating, or, you know, niches like that where customers buy over and over and over again, they buy lots of products, those are the kind of niches to be in. Now, if you're personally branded, some of those products that you come up with are going to be failures, and some of them are going to be good. Some are going to be home runs. But failure is guaranteed in this business. It's a given. You're going to have some duds. So get a site up online that brands you. My site, ericlouvier.com, brands me. Not any one specific product or program I have. I'm branded in the marketplace somewhat, right? So if I come out with a program or a product that's a dud, so what? I get to keep moving on. Not a one-hit wonder, right? If I put all of my branding into one bucket and then that branding is branding some company and that company fails, I'm screwed. Brand you. Sign your full name on your emails. Don't just put Eric. Don't just put Tim. Put your full name. Do videos. People see you. That brands you. Do audios. I hear your voice. Personality. Do articles and blog posts. Have some personality in those articles and blog posts. Facebook, Twitter, press releases, testimonials for others. You know, do testimonials for other people. Get your testimonials on their sites. Get your testimonials on their products. Create content for other people to include in their products. Integration with other sites and products. Get in front of your market at all costs. Interviews. Do whatever you can do to get in front of your niche market. The more the better. If you don't want to use your real name, then create a pen name. When I first started in internet marketing, I had a day job, and I didn't want my employers to see that, you know, I was doing all this stuff on the side. So, I mean, at that time I was doing a lot of niche stuff anyway, but I always created pen names. And then when I quit that job, when I started getting to the point where I was going to quit the job, then I didn't care. So I started using my own name, and I picked the internet marketing market to use my real name. So I think that it's important to use your real name, but you could create a pen name too if that's something that you're fearful of. A lot of people do that. On purpose. I actually have spent time planning and implementing branding campaigns myself, personally. I hit up 30 people, 30 brand new people to build relationships Or I say, I'm gonna hit up, here's an example of a branding campaign. I'm gonna hit up 30 people, that's my goal. I'm gonna hit up 30 other marketers, and I'm gonna see if I can get my products in their sites back in, their thank you page or download page. I'm gonna see if I can do interviews with them. I'm gonna see if they can promote a free report for me, where they get my free report and put it in their back end, do interviews with them. I'm gonna partner up with some people that have reach. I'm gonna reach out and brand myself. I'm gonna be everywhere. And what happens? More money. Every time I do stuff like this right here, more money. More money happens. Every time. So if you are a little bit branded in the market, all you got to do is get in front of the market. That's it. If you take one of the internet marketing gurus that is kind of legendary, like they were here, in the market, kind of pioneering stuff, and then they disappeared for a long time, and they come back. Like Yannick Silver was big, and then he kind of disappeared for a while. Then he comes back. I mean, all he has to do is get out in front of the market, and he's going to make a bunch of money, right? Just get out in front of the market a little bit, and then all of a sudden, all this cash flow just rolls to you. Now, if you're not branded at all, you should see the incredible power of branding yourself right now, just in that example. Am I saying that you should be a guru? Yes! Be a guru. Be an expert. Be someone credible, with authority, a following. Be someone that people admire. Help people change their lives. I know that's controversial. Everyone else is going to say, don't be a guru. I hate the word guru. I hate gurus, and all that crap. It's bull. It really is. Because if you want to make a bunch of money, then you're going to brand yourself on purpose. And even if you don't want to brand yourself, and you're going to sell some good value to the marketplace, and you're going to convert well, and you're going to get people to promote for you and stuff, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get branded whether you like it or not. So you might as well do it on purpose, especially if you want to make a lot more money. And some people are just in this business kind of on the side, they're just kind of, kicking it around, just a hobby. It's just replacing television, or it's just interesting, or it's just pipe dream. They're just not really serious about it. Most people aren't. They're just kind of getting going. They're just not, they don't look at it as being real. They're not too serious. They really haven't tried. They're just kind of buying some products here and there. They're kind of addicted to the dream. There's a lot of people in this business that are just addicted to the dream. Like 3 weeks will pass and they haven't done anything, and then all of a sudden the new offer hits their email inbox, and they're like, I'm going to buy this. And they get all excited, and they buy it, and they jump inside, and they kind of watch a few videos, and they get distracted, and they never go back. And then that cycle just goes on forever, right? They're not real serious. So if you're not real serious, you need to get serious, because this is a real business. You can really make a lot of money, right? Those of you that are serious, you're looking at this, and you should be saying to yourself, I need to do this because it's going to make me a lot more money. Somebody makes $50,000 a year online in the internet marketing market, or any market, any niche market, and they want to make $100,000 or $200,000 a year. Just reach out to 30 more people and get some of this stuff going, or toot your own horn. Okay, just do some of this stuff, brand yourself in the market. Now, when I first started doing this kind of stuff, and I started doing some interviews, where's my pen? I started doing some interviews, right? Well, I was like really scared doing the interviews. I was really scared doing the interviews because I never did interviews before. It was uncomfortable. I was a little freaked out at that, right? After I did, a few of them, it started getting easier. Whenever you ask people about, getting your reports and stuff like, one thing all you got to do is just ask. You'd be surprised at how many people will say yes if you ask. If you just simply ask and follow up. That means follow up, follow up, FU means follow up, okay? But we stop asking. My 3-year-old asks me all the time, man. He's asking me questions, asks me for stuff all the time, right? And as we get older, we start asking less. We stop asking. Just ask. I mean, just reach out, make a goal. I'm going to reach out and ask 30 people. And then just make that a goal. And you know what? Out of those 30 people, you either hit 100%, they all say yes, or you'll hit like 80% say yes, usually, depending on what you're asking. Okay? Now, if you're branded and you ask 30 people, this is a more likely of a reality because you're branded. It's easy when you're branded to ask people for stuff because what they think is what's in it for me, right? And if they know that you're branded, then they automatically know that that's good opportunity for them. It's called leverage. Toot your own horn. You got to toot your own horn because nobody is going to toot your horn for you until you start tooting your own horn. Most are worried about what their peers are going to think of them when they start tooting their own horns. So if you start saying, I'm the greatest copywriter in the world, you would probably be mostly worried about what your peers think when you start saying that. So when you start tooting your own horn, like if you started to toot your own horn today I'm going to start tooting my own horn. If you start that today, then you're probably, if you're like everyone else, you're going to be most worried about what your peers think, not necessarily your customers. Your peers are not your customers. Your peers don't buy much from you. In this business, yeah, your peers will buy from you, and you'll buy from your peers here and there, but they're not mostly your customers. They're busy selling stuff themselves to be out there buying, right? So your peers are really the only ones that you'll be worried about when you start getting outside your comfort zones and start doing more interviews and kind of declaring that you're somebody, that you're someone to be listened to, that you have some good information, some good value to provide. Then you start tooting your own horn, your customers are going to resonate with that. I remember one marketer, not going to say who he is, his name. There was a marketer when he first got started in this business. A few of us were kind of like, how do I put this nicely? We just kind of made fun of him because he was full of it. He was saying all this stuff about how great he was. I mean, right out of the gates. I mean, no one had heard of him. He went from like doing one thing and then all of a sudden he was doing something else and then overnight he was an expert at it, right? And he was doing all these videos and stuff and he was telling everyone that would listen how great he was. And we were kind of like, look at this guy, man. Who does he think he is? He's tooting the hell out of his own horn, right? So he may not have been getting a very good reception from his peers, us, but you know what he was getting a reception from? His customers. They were resonating with him. And one time in my office, he was doing a live audio call, a teleseminar, and we put him on speakerphone just to listen to what he had to say. And then at the end, he took questions. And those people loved him. It's not this, it's this. And now these people all respect him, pretty much. So he earned their respect, and they go to him for stuff now. But when he first started, he was getting some heat here, not here. So your customers do, and those are the ones you want to toot your horn for you. Okay, so Eric, man, I'm seeing you everywhere. You come out with products all the time. How do you do it? Eric, I bought this because I read your report found in the ABC program I bought from Johnny Guru and loved that report so much. I looked you up online and now just bought this from you too. Eric, I love your stuff. I just bought ABC program from you. I'm glad I found you through Sally Guru. That's kind of how it goes when you start branding yourself. It's just easier, guys. I'm just here to help you make money. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like what I'm saying here. But I'm here to tell you this is a great way to increase your revenue. Speaking and writing with authority. I'm not sure, but I think if you try to pay for traffic, it might be expensive. Not sure though, maybe, in my opinion, sorry, etc. That's not writing or speaking with authority. That's being timid. So what you need to do is pay for traffic. This is the quickest way to see your stuff converts or not. Once you see that it converts, then you could do article marketing or whatever you want to do to drive traffic after that. That's just an example of being a little bit more authoritative in my speech as an example. See the difference? So people follow leaders who are bold and confident, not people who are not sure. Write and speak with authority. Okay? How to really make money. Look for problems and solve them. Fill needs, fill desires, better people's lives. Don't focus on the money, then you'll chase money. Money is just a symbol. Focus on value. Focus on providing value for other people. Focus on the journey of making money. And focus on them, not you. Don't be narcissistic. Think about them, not you. Focus on them. Focus on the value that you're going to provide them. If you do this, it's going to get huge results for you. I promise. What do they want, need? Not what do you want. What do they want, need? What's in it for me, for them? They don't care about you. Focus on providing value to as many people as you can reach, and the money will come gushing in. Try to reach thousands of people. You know, I mean, if you could get 1,000 customers to buy from you, you will be able to live off of those 1,000 customers for the next year to a year and a half. Maybe 2 years. Just 1,000 customers. Because those 1,000 customers, if you're in the right niche like this one, will buy and buy and buy from you again and again, especially if you're providing value. Most don't do this, though. They focus on themselves entirely, and that's wrong. Or they focus on chasing money. Social proof, huge way to convert and make money. Just get 30 to 50 people to give you testimonials and endorsements, case studies, etc., and watch your sales skyrocket. Okay, we're getting into some stuff here that I just wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about this: fire in the eyes, determination, and aggressiveness. This is something that I've seen within myself enough times to know that there's something there when it comes to making money. Most people react in life and in business. They just kind of coast. They just kind of coast through their journey, you know, trying little things here and there. They take these little baby steps, you know, these little tiny little steps, you know, one at a time, and, you know, one day turns into a week, 1 week turns into a month, 1 month turns into a quarter of a year, and then half a year, then a whole year, then several years, and it goes really slowly, okay? All the breakthroughs that I've seen have come from a rush of action, a flurry of action. You know, where that fire inside the belly, that fire in their eyes, compels somebody to bust through all the uncomfortable stuff and just do it. There is something here. I've seen it within my own self, and I've seen it within, you know, friends of mine. When they get that fire in their eyes, that determination, that aggressiveness, then they bust through those comfort zones. If you're afraid to ask people to promote for you, you will not be afraid if you get this going on in your life and in your business or in your attitude. Okay, if you just bust through all the, you know, adversity and just force things to happen. So when I look back at my career, actually just my whole life, and I look at times when I exploded and got really huge results, it was because I had that going on, and the rest of the time was just coasting. So like in my internet marketing career, I can look back, and there's very specific moments where I had this. And in between those moments was just coasting. Explosions. Okay, so there's going to be ups and downs in your journey. There's going to be ups and downs in business. There always is. Everyone goes through that. It doesn't matter if you're doing $100,000 a year or $100 million a year. There's ups and downs. And when you're up, then you have what I call momentum, right? You have momentum going on, so you're up. You're at the top. You're at the peak. Peaks and valleys. So you're at the peak, and you have momentum going on, and money is just flooding in to your level, right? You maybe if $100,000 a year is a lot of money to you right now, then at your level at $100,000, then at that peak, that making $100,000 is easy because you got momentum. But then some things happen, and you end up in the valley, right? And it's not so easy to make the $100,000 anymore, or $1 million. It's not coming easy. Well, this is what I've learned. When you're at the peaks, then what you get is money. Okay? When you're in the valley, what you get is heart. You find yourself. You find your soul, yourself. You become better in the peaks and valleys. I mean, during the valleys. When you're at the peak, it's easy, right? You're making money, so your reward is money. When you're in the valley, be grateful for those moments. Be grateful for the time that you're in the valleys, because when you're in the valleys is when you find yourself. It's when you learn what worked in the past and what didn't work in the past, what's working now, and what you need to do differently. So they say that every 16 months you have to recreate yourself in business. Every 16 months or so, and it changes as society speeds up and technology speeds up. Maybe now it's every year. Every 12 months you got to recreate yourself. So if that's happening in business, then that means that more people are hitting valleys, especially with economic hardships and stuff. People will hit valleys, and it's important to understand that when you're in that valley, that your next peak could be 2-3 times higher than the peak you just had. So if you're at 100 grand a year, and then now you're in a valley trying to figure out how you're going to even make 100 grand a year, learn from that time that you're in the valley, because that next mountain that you're looking up is twice as high or 3 times high than the $100,000. In order to get there, you're going to have to experience some turbulence as you go up in the air to get to that next level. Now, what I have found, because I've been in that valley before, the only way for me to get out of a valley is the fire in the eyes, determination, and aggressiveness. And if you were to just look at yourself and say, well, how am I as a person? How aggressive am I? Well, however aggressive you claim to be to yourself, raise it 15%. Be 15% more aggressive than you're used to being. And if that doesn't make you more money, then give me a phone call. I will saw off my left pinky toe for you. Get 15% more aggressive than you're used to being right now and start reaching out, and I would be absolutely shocked if you didn't start making a lot more money. This is important to have this fire in the eye determination. So 1 month of being like this can set you up for the next year or two. 1 month of this fire in the eyes determination can set you up for the next year or two. And like I said, I could date back to the times I was like that and just threw myself out there, bleep it. I don't care what happens. I'm doing this. That's the attitude to have. And then hold on loosely. You don't want to hold on too tightly and, be determined and be aggressive, but hold on loosely, because I think sometimes you just have to have that I don't give a shit attitude and just let it rip. Sometimes you have to have that kind of an attitude, because if not, you talk yourself out of stuff, and you create all these barriers and obstacles and stuff and all this adversity. But if you have that attitude, like, I just don't give a damn, I'm going to do this and just let it rip. I got this fire in my eye. No one's going to tell me no. Everyone's going to get the hell out of my way. Something magical happens when you get that attitude. And for me, it's been a flurry of income whenever I do that. And I've seen that with some of my buddies in this industry too. So there's something to it. And so I think for you got to realize that this may be what it takes to get you off the ground, right? You don't crawl out of the mud, you explode out of the mud. So another thing is stop beating yourself up. The past is the past. The future is the future. And all you can do is now. That's all you really have control of, is right now. And people let the past kill their entire lives. The universe doesn't care, if you were picked last for kickball or worked at McDonald's for 1 year. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care. Money doesn't care. Wealth doesn't care. If your dad told you you'd never amount to anything, he's wrong. You're not perfect. So stop beating yourself up. Okay? A lot of people do that. I listen to people every day when I do one-on-ones. They beat themselves up. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. It's crap. It's excuses. So stop beating yourself up. Answer this. Practice makes what? Perfect? No, it doesn't. Wrong. Perfect does not exist. Practice makes you better. You're going to fail. All right? The faster and more often you fail, the more you're going to succeed. You got to stump your toe. You got to get out there and get hurt. Get dinged up a little bit. Roll your sleeves up. Get dirty. Get out there and make business happen. And don't be afraid to fail. We all fail. We all fail. So what? Failure is failure. The hell with failure. It's part of the game. You want massive success? Have a massive amount of failures. People are absolutely terrified of failure. They are. What's the worst that can happen? Become homeless? Well, there is this one thing I saw with Tony Robbins where he met with a couple, a husband and a wife who were scared of chasing their dreams, and he kind of drilled it down and figured out that their biggest fear was that they felt that they would be homeless if they chased this business that they dreamed of owning and running. And that fear of being homeless is what held them back for years. You know, that I got to have the security of a job or an income, but on the other hand, I really want to do this. So he saw that they had this fear of being homeless. So what he did is he took them and made them homeless for a week. He's like, if you want to beat this fear, you're going to go be homeless on the streets for a week. Or maybe it was 2 weeks. I don't remember. That fear was gone right after that. Busy time versus real action. If you ever get so motivated to do something that you instantly start by cleaning off your desk and then rearranging your office and then checking your email and taking out the trash? Have you ever noticed yourself doing that? Like you get so motivated to do something that you got to clean off your desk. Now, what the hell is that? Why do you got to clean off your desk? All of a sudden you get motivated, right? Some psychology going on there. This is busy time. Ever decide to do something online that you spend the next 4 hours installing some blog or some script or wasting all this time doing busy stuff? Do you instantly turn on your computer and check your email first thing? Busy time. Look for it. Busy time isn't going to get you there. You'll see it everywhere with people too. Traffic and conversions. Do that instead. Spend your time on what makes you money, right? My desk is a mess right now. I got like 2 Coke cans, a smart water bottle, and 2 coffee cups, and I don't even drink coffee, so those have been there for a while, and a glass. And I got a fantasy baseball magazine, got 3 notebook pads, I have a whole bunch of mail that I haven't even checked, a checkbook, my sunglasses, a polo hat, and a fork, and my Bose headphones, and toothpicks, and another checkbook, and Post-it notes, and my glasses. You know, you got to focus on doing the things that are real action. This is where a plan comes in handy, by the way, because if you have a plan, you knock that plan out. Bam, 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 bam. So if you spend like 4 hours working on your plan instead of installing some crap blog that you're not even going to update, you come up with that plan. That 4 hours spending on that plan will help you execute this plan so you are doing real action instead of busy time. Okay? Choices. We all have only 24 hours in a day. The only difference between those who make fortunes and those who don't is how they use those 24 hours each day. Make the right choices. Choices that distract, wrong choices. Choices that limit you, wrong choices. Choices that move you away from your goals, wrong choices. Wealth or success is a direct result of the choices that you've made up to now. Watching TV 6 hours a day equals not going to make you wealthy, right? Your choices is what dictates the amount of money that you're going to make. Your choices. Now, a lot of times we don't make choices. Like, for example, if the choice that you need traffic would be, okay, you need to set up an affiliate program and go recruit people to promote for you. Okay, you set it all up. Now you make the choice, I need to go get people to promote for you. Now you need to do it, right? And if you do it, you will make money. And that is the right choice, okay? If you see that you're getting traffic to a sales page and the conversions suck, what do? You tweak your sales copy, right? You hire a copywriter. You do what you can to increase the conversions. That is the right choice. If you need a product or an upsell, you create a product. You spend time creating the videos, doing the research, whatever you need to do to create the product so you can have an upsell. That's the right choice. So when you look at all of your choices in a given day, or however long you have to spend on your business, say you're going to work 3 or 4 hours a day on your business, what choices are you making? What are you spending your time doing? Because we all only have 24 hours in a day. And the only difference between making $1 million and making $50,000 a year is what you do with those 24 hours, the choices that you make. Branding. If you don't brand yourself, nobody will do it for you. If you don't toot your own horn first, nobody will toot your horn for you. If you are not branded, it's harder for them to buy your stuff. If you don't have social proof and positioning and authority, you will be hard-pressed to sell stuff. Credibility, branding, positioning, presentation purposes, authority, social proof, celebrity, buzz, spotlight, talked about, newsworthy, proof factors, case studies, recommended everywhere, etc. equals massive success. Being scared, timid, worried, insecure, slow, fearful, frustrated, sick, tired, filled with excuses equals massive failure. It's about choices. Resourcefulness. I'm amazed at how many people just want others to do everything for them. Everyone holding themselves back because they want others to do everything for them. Boss, I can't move this computer because the cable cord is in the wall too tight. When you're done, can you help me move this computer? Or can you move the computer for me? That was a real question someone asked me. They said they couldn't move the computer because the cable cord in the wall was too tight. It was tightened too tight. So when I was done doing whatever it was I was doing, could I go move the computer for them? You know what my answer to that was? Have you ever heard of a thing called a wrench? You know, it's like resourcefulness is amazing. People don't figure out anything for themselves. I mean, it's like, what would society be if they weren't taken care of? Resourcefulness means figure it out yourself. Internet marketing is the classic example. I bought your business in a box. It comes with everything but this one little thing called traffic. Therefore, it's not for me. And neither is anything else in this business. Ever heard of a thing called a wrench? Figure it out. Listen, nobody is ever going to make you wealthy for you. You have to make yourself wealthy. You have to do it. It's up to you. Everyone else is busy making themselves wealthy to worry about making you wealthy. And Superman is not going to fly in out of the sky and save the day. It's up to you to make things happen and ultimately figure it all out yourself. The entire world is sitting back waiting for someone to do everything for them. Now that you know that, you should have no problem being a leader or selling products. Everyone wants a leader, so they don't have to think or do things for themselves. Traffic. It's the oxygen of online business. All those 98% of people who fail at this business fail to get traffic. All the ones who get traffic make money. If you are not good at getting traffic, guess where you should start? If you spend 90% of your time focused on traffic, you'll get traffic. And I'm going to stop right there. Listen, it's amazing to me how many people I've come across in the years that I've been in this business who talk to me about how hard it is to get traffic. And yet I come across one guy who's a VIP of mine, and in the first 2 days he was driving traffic, measuring his conversions, tweaking his copy to get a high percentage of both the squeeze page and the CPA offer that he was promoting in the back end. It's amazing how people create these obstacles and barriers that aren't even there. They're not even there. Traffic is not hard. People have these mental blocks about traffic. Traffic is not hard. Conversions is what's hard. So then once you're getting plenty of traffic, you'll understand how critical conversions are. You'll get that social proof we were talking about. You'll get that branding going on that we're talking about. You'll get all that proof factors going on that we're talking about, the case studies, the endorsements, the celebrity, the branding, the positioning. So it should all come full circle now back to this bullet point right here. That's why I was so heavily influencing you guys on how important it is to brand and get the social proof, to brand and position yourself, and it's all about presentation, is because it's not about traffic. Traffic is easy. It's about conversions. It's about conversions. That's where the big money is. And you should never look at the market the same again. When you look at people that aren't making any money, you know what you should say to yourself? They're not branded. They're not positioning themselves right, and they're not getting traffic or converting that traffic. That's it. So if I was to say to you, okay, this is the greatest way to get traffic ever invented, and I showed it to you, and you start getting, 1,000 visitors a day, let's say, right? And you're not making any money, then you're going to start focusing on conversions naturally. And if you listen to this or watch this presentation, you understand how easy it is to get your conversions up by branding yourself. So relationships, the heart and soul of business is your relationship with peers. Do you actively build relationships? Goal, meet and strike 30 new relationships with other like-minded people in my market who do what I do. I was telling them, let me see if he's here. I thought I saw his name earlier. I was talking to Tim. Yeah, there you are. I was talking to Tim earlier, and we talked about this. We talked about this for a while, meeting and striking 30 new relationships with other like-minded people. I'm currently doing that. He's going to start doing that. I already introduced him to some people. Yeah, Tim just said he's doing one person a day. Perfect. And that will change your life. That will change your business. That will change your bank account. That's huge. And it's easy because they all want to build relationships with you too. And I think that you're not going to make it past 8 new relationships before you have opportunity coming out your ears. So if you make a goal to get 30, by the time you get to 8, you'll have all kinds of opportunities coming your direction. It's amazing how easy it really is. If you listen to nothing that I ever say, listen to this one slide here. Just go build relationships and it'll change your life. They want to build relationships too. It's amazing how these people that, I'm striking relationships with want to make relationships with me too. Hey, how can I help you, is what they say. Do you got anything going on? I got one guy today that signed up to promote something. I never heard of him before. He's got an internet marketing list. He was introduced to me by Jason Parker. So I get introduced to this guy, and he's promoting something that me and Matt Gill have that we've launched. So it's amazing how much of an impact this can have on your income. So just do it. Copywriting formula. Here's a copywriting formula. Capture their attention. We call that a grabber. Disrupt their flow. This is a cool little thing to keep in mind. So people are busy, right? They're doing all these different things, multitasking. In fact, 34% of you right now are multitasking because I can see on the little graph. You're listening to me while you're doing something else. That's multitasking. So people are multitasking, right? You got to disrupt that flow and capture their attention and snap them to look and pay attention to what you're doing, to sit up in their chair and say, what is this? That's a grabber. That's where controversy can work sometimes too. So you capture their attention and then disrupt their flow. State that big problem that most people have. Remember, we're talking about solving problems. Agitate that problem further. Pick the scab. Here's what most people do, and that's why they fail. I used to do that too, and I also failed miserably. And here's what I did instead, and I started succeeding. Here's what you should do instead too. And you will not be like all the other people who fail. I guarantee it. Big guarantee. Close them. Pull a takeaway. They'll continue to have the big problem if they don't buy your solution. We call it a takeaway. Oops, let me go back. So capture their attention, which is disrupting their flow. State the big problem that most people have. Agitate that problem. And then you say, here's what most people do. You want to lose weight? Maybe let's just do one real time. Capture their attention, a grabber, and disrupt their flow. These go together. So maybe you would say, hey, fatso. That's going to capture their attention, right? Is it going to piss some people off? Yeah, who cares? So you capture their attention, grab or disrupt their flow. Hey, fatso. Hey, fatty. Hey, Joe Bag of Donuts. Listen up. Right? Capture their attention. State the big problem. The problem is you're fat. Agitate that problem. Can you even touch your toes? And here's what most people do. Most people who are fat just stay fat the whole rest of their lives until they die. And that's why they die, is because they're fat. I used to be fat too. And here's what I did instead, and I succeeded. Here's what you should do instead too. The same thing. And you'll succeed too. In fact, I guarantee it. And then close them. And then pull a takeaway. Hey, you still want to be fat? Then go ahead and leave and go find your bag of chips and have a good life. If not, let's get to work here and let's get you started to lose weight. Why will they not buy? Come up with 20 different reasons why your prospects will not buy your product. Get help if you can from other people or from prospects. Why will they not buy your product? I just asked someone today, hey, can you look at this and tell me why would someone not buy it? I need to know why people will not buy this so I can solve that on the sales letter, so I can overcome those objections. Feedback, the data that you get is paramount, critical. It's hard to see the reasons why it's hard for you to see the reasons why they won't buy because you're so close to it. You can't see the forest for the trees, right? It's too emotional. It's your business. So you got to reach out to people and say, why didn't you buy this? I did that recently. I emailed my list and said, email me and let me know if you have any questions about this. I wanted to see what were some reasons why people weren't buying the program, just so I could see if there was any kind of ways to increase the conversions of the sales letter. Try any way to figure it out, all the reasons. And then recraft your sales letter or add to it, to the sales pitch, to overcome those reasons why they will not buy. You'll be shocked at what people say are the reasons why they won't buy. You'll be like, damn, I never thought of that. And then you fix it, and all of a sudden conversions go up. People resist sales attempts. If you're a salesperson, you're an outside salesperson, and you walk into an office and you sell them something, you're there to sell them something, and you have this briefcase in your hand and you're dressed in a suit with a big tie and smile on your face, they're going to resist you, right? You walk in the office and they're going to say, the owner's not here. The person that makes that decision is not here. They're busy right now. Do you have a card? Right? They're going to knock you off at the punch there because they're resistant to sales attempts. If someone knocks on my house door in my house and they're wearing a tie and they have a briefcase with them or something, I know they're going to try to sell me something. I might not answer the door. If I walk into a car lot, a car dealership, and I see a guy in a dress shirt and tie quickly walk in my direction, I know that guy's going to try to sell me a car. If I land on a sales letter, it's going to try to sell me something. People resist sales attempts. They don't like to be sold. They do like to buy. A sales letter that looks like an article can actually pull better conversions than a sales letter sometimes if crafted right. It's because they are not on the defense. So if I wrote a sales letter that said something like, how to triple your conversions by Eric Louviere, and then I start the article, right? And then this part of the article down the page is just content, teaching them stuff. I could do a transition into a sales pitch here, and that could actually sell better than the sales letter because people are resistant to sales attempts, especially in our market. I mean, not in our market, especially in other markets. In our market, it's not the same because they're used to being pitched all the time. So this technique can work like a charm in other markets. In our market too. People do not resist sales attempts that they do not detect. It opens them up to suggestion too. If my son is upset and starting to throw a fit, I can quickly distract him and then he's open for suggestion. But I got to do it quick, right? So people are open to suggestion or even hypnotic suggestion once they are distracted, or when they land on a sales letter or when they're confused, they don't know what's going on. If they can't predict what's happening because people are resistant to sales attempts, they're actually open to suggestion at that point. A lot more than if they can predict what's going on, they know what's going on. So they know in our market, we all know what a sales video is. We all know what a sales letter is, right? But if it's something we can't detect, they're kind of off kilter a little bit and they're open for suggestion. Yeah, I pull conversion techniques on my son. If you suck at copywriting, do a sales video. If you are not good on video, audio, hire a voiceover to do your script for you, or partner with someone who is strong at copy or sales videos. Here's the formula for a sales video. 1, you need a pattern interrupt, disrupt their flow, a grabber. Hey, fatso. That's a pattern interrupt. Example, the gurus are lying to you. State the big problem. You are never going to make money following their crap advice because they don't teach you point blank how to get traffic. They tell you one thing, but do something completely different. Don't do what they say, do what they do. State your big promise, a hook, a unique selling proposition, a slogan, tagline. This is hugely important. I guarantee you this will bring you 2,000 clicks per month free and easily, or I'll double your money back for wasting your time. Some big promise. Here's what you get. Tell them everything they get in the program, the benefits. Close them. State your guarantee. Hit them with bonuses. Close them again. Overcome objections. Close them again. Pull a takeaway. You're still going to have this problem if you don't get this program. Recap what they get, everything that they get, the guarantee. Close them again. Tell them what to do next. Click the big orange button, fill out the order form, click buy, log inside. Once you're inside, watch the quick start videos. Tweak 50 times. This is magical if you do this. Send traffic, measure results, and then tweak. And make a goal to tweak 50 times. So you send traffic, look at the results. What is the percentage? Tweak, and then do it again. That counts as one time. Then you send traffic again, measure the results, look at the percentage, tweak again. That's 2 times. And do that over and over. Maybe you could do like, maybe, it just depends, but let's just say 300 unique visitors each time before you tweak. I'd say 300 to 1,000. But I just wanted to go low here since this is high. You tweak 50 times. Repeat that 50 times. If you do the above, I'll saw off my tongue if you are not earning a lot of money by the 50th tweak. It's all about conversions. It's all about tweaking. Prosper 202 for tracking, Clicky, analytics, whatever. There's a lot of tracking programs. How to really, really make money. Model what's already making money. Just do it better or differently. Huge markets out there, World Wide Web. Okay, competition is not a big deal. If you see something working well, making a lot of money, model it. Fill the same need. Just make it unique to you. For example, if you see a specific ebook out there that's selling like crazy, make a video course or a club. Model what they're doing. Find what's selling and model it. Outdo them, out-social proof them, out-case study them, out-proof factor them, out-endorsement them, out-present them, out-market them, out-traffic them, out-authority them, and out-brand them. You win. That is an easy pathway to really, really make a lot of money quickly. The key to winning is not to be competitive or to think competitively. It's to be creative and think creatively about yourself and your offer and what you are doing. Just use a model to find that need to fill or that desire to fill or that problem that's being solved. And then out-market them. First to market is always going to be great, but it's easier to find something already succeeding and model that than it is to invent a new wheel. Okay, in conclusion, if you pick a niche that's big and has lots of money being spent in that niche already, and you pick a product that people are already buying, similar products, right, and you fill needs and desires and solve problems that people pay to get solved already, and you differentiate yourself to them, then all that matters from that point on is that you continue to tweak your conversions and add to what you are doing. Make it better and better over time. Stick to one thing and make it work. Scale it up. It's no wonder that so many people fail in this business because they bounce around from one thing to the next thing to the next thing and are all over the place. It's easy to do. It's easy to be all over the place. How can anyone tweak anything 50 times if they're all over the place, right? Stick to one thing. Make one business hugely successful for you, and then you can go out and start doing all these other little businesses. So you are 50 tweaks away from 6 figures online or more, in my opinion. If you reach out to 30 people to build relationships, if you reach out to people to integrate, if you reach out to people to promote for you, and you test traffic and tweak that traffic like we're talking about, and you brand yourself like we're talking about, I don't see 6 figures would be a drop in the bucket. It's nothing for this kind of business. You can make a lot more than that if you do this kind of stuff that we're talking about here. Okay? All right. Thanks, guys. See if you have any questions. It's my big bodyguard guy. Let's give him a big hairdo. His head is freakishly small. Okay, let's see. Do I got any questions here? Great presentation. Practice makes beautiful music. That's so true. We focus too much on peers and not enough on our real buyers. Excellent point. Just registered my name as a domain. Awesome. Can you combine internet marketing and personal development? It strikes me that success principles are universal regardless of the niche. I did it in this presentation, man. You got some personal development or self-improvement along with internet marketing. So yeah, you could bridge the two. Higher fee implies greater value. Do you want to hire a discount brain surgeon or the best? Exactly. Okay. Is there a time when you should deal with realistic expectations? What is realistic expectations to you, Brian? Realistic expectations to me is I need to do at least a minimum of $1 million this year, and my goal is to do $1 million a month. To me, it's realistic that I could do $1 million a month. Other people in my business do $1 million a month, so it's a realistic expectation. What's realistic expectation for you? Can you do 6 figures this year in 2011? Damn right you can. Do you want to make $100,000 this year? You can. You want to make $200,000? You can. It's really limited to you, not me. So there's no way I would ever be able to like say it's not realistic that you could do $1 million this year, Brian, because it is realistic. Who are people that I follow for mindset stuff? Tim, man, I follow a lot of people. Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, some of the old guys, Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, Rich Dad, I've even followed him. Let's see, the Science of Getting Rich, I really love that stuff. Follow that. Deepak Chopra, follow him. Man, the list is endless. You make me laugh on these webinars because you tell the truth. Like to see you in a bar and tell the girl, hey, fatty, why is your dress so big on you? Yeah, shouldn't have read that out loud. Someone once said that marketing should make sales superfluous. Your stuff is right to the point. Spot on, Eric. Presentations are authentic because of that very value. Thank you, or because of that very valuable. Thank you, Christopher. All right, guys, no questions? I don't see any questions here. Can I draw a monkey? I don't know if I can draw a monkey, man. Doesn't quite look right. Close enough. Good job. All right, I'm going to turn off the recording now.